वज़ीर-ए-आज़म शहबाज शरीफ दियामिर भाषा डैम पर दौरे के लिए पहुंचे हैं। आपको बराह रास्त लिए चलते हैं। ये मनाजिर आप देख रहे हैं। मियाँ शहबाज शरीफ वज़ीर-ए-आज़म पाकिस्तान पहुंचे हैं दियामिर भाषा डैम और वहां का दौरा कर रहे हैं। और चेयरमैन वापडा लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल रिटायर्ड मुजम्मिल हुसैन इस मौके पर दियामिर भाषा डैम के हवाले से ब्रीफिंग दे रहे हैं। ये आप देख रहे हैं वज़ीर-ए-आज़म शहबाज शरीफ दियामिर भाषा डैम पहुँचे हैं, जहाँ पर वो तामीराती काम के हवाले से जायज़ा ले रहे हैं और ब्रीफिंग ले रहे हैं। चेयरमैन वापडा लेफ्टिनेंट रिटायर्ड मुजम्मिल हुसैन उनको ब्रीफिंग दे रहे हैं। इस मौके पर दीगर हुक्काम भी मौजूद हैं। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म शहबाज शरीफ दियामिर भाषा डैम पहुँचे हैं, जहाँ का वो आज दौरा कर रहे हैं और चेयरमैन वापडा उनको ब्रीफिंग दे रहे हैं। यह मनाज़िर आप बराह रास्त देख रहे हैं। दियामिर भाषा डैम के दौरे के मौके के मनाज़िर हैं। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म शहबाज शरीफ दियामिर भाषा डैम के दौरे के मौके पर पहुँचे हैं और चेयरमैन वापडा उनको इस हवाले से ब्रीफिंग दे रहे हैं। दीगर हुक्काम भी उनके साथ मौजूद हैं। शाहिद खान अब्बासी भी हमें दिखाई दे रहे हैं। ख्वाजा आसिफ भी उनके साथ मौजूद हैं। वज़ीर-ए-आज़म शहबाज शरीफ दियामिर भाषा डैम पहुँचे हैं, आज दौरा कर रहे हैं और उनको इस हवाले से हुक्काम ब्रीफिंग दे रहे हैं। चेयरमैन वापडा उनको ब्रीफ कर रहे हैं इस प्रोजेक्ट।
So first of all, doing Diamer Basha in here is a nightmarish experience, sir. On the counts like its location, very remote, the logistic nightmare, you have security concerns, and lately you were struck by COVID. Sir, let me tell you the figures that we have already 11 shaheeds who are working here in the last 2 years. Despite our best international practices, we have lost 11 precious lives, and we have 61 who were wounded. And during COVID, we lost 80 people who worked in the project. Despite losing so many people and having the issues like security and also the location, this project is still on track, sir. Sir, I'd like to just very briefly show you that how is this working. So you are more familiar than this anybody else on development projects. Wapda is the only parastatal in Pakistan which has unparalleled capacity to identify, design, make a feasibility report, construct and operate. And we today, sir, in Pakistan with about 9,387 megawatt in terms of its power, and in terms of energy we are producing about 37 billion units. And we do this with only 3 rupees and 15 paisas. Sir, if you see a pie on the right, you have this. If Pakistan is producing 129 billion units, we do that about 37 billion. And this 37 billion which we produce at the cost of only 3 rupees, this is the core, this is stability for the entire power sector of Pakistan. And we do all this in line with the SDGs of UN 6, 7, 8, 9. They talk of climate, they talk of clean energy. Sir, our journey to resurgence started once we did these 4 projects. We did Kachi Canal in 2017. We did Golan Gol in January 18. We did Tarbela Fort in March 18. And we did Neelam Jhelum in April 2018. So these projects were stuck for years, if not decades. Having done this successfully, इसको बंद करवा दीजिए. This is what gave us a very good revenue streams and the experience and confidence to do the more projects. I'll just take you to the history, not a very far history, recent history. This is what was done in terms of those projects. This is what we did in 17, sir. करेंगे तुझको जाविदा हम जन्म जन्म अल्लाह की अता तू नबी का है करम जान तुझ पे वार दे खिता है हरम
टेक्निकल चैलेंजेस थे और कई मीटिंग्स में ये बात भी डिस्कस की गई कि इस प्रोजेक्ट को अबेंडन किया जाए। तो मैं जनरल मुजम्मिल साहब का मशकूर हूँ कि उन्होंने ये चैलेंज लिया। तो आज जितनी जनरल मुजम्मिल साहब को खुशी है तो मुझे भी खुशी है कि हमारा जो एतमाद था वादा पर और जो जनरल मुजम्मिल साहब के वादों पर वो पूरे हुए।
सबसे हसीन हम हैं, इमरोज की मसनद पे फरदा का यकीन हम हैं। है वतन, 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 है वतन।
Mr. Prime Minister, we have gelled a team which is ever willing to make a contribution. Their expertise, their professionalism, their level of confidence probably can match the best of the team in the world. And that is what took them to really undertake these 10 projects which we are talking today. Sir, before I go to these projects, let me tell you, sir, this Indus which is passing in front of you, the place where it enters in current area of Pakistan at LOC, at Hamzi Gund, it has about 17 million acre-feet water. Once it comes down to Skardu, the water increases to about 30 million acre-feet by virtue of having tributaries like Shigar into it. And if you go about 100 kilometers upstream to Bunji, it goes up to 50 million acre-feet water. Every year from here, we have 50 million acre-feet water passing downwards. Once it reaches Tarbela, it becomes 60 million acre-feet water. We have Kandia and Dubair River joining in. And from Tarbela downwards, once you have Kabul and Swan coming into this, it is 90 million acre-feet water at the Kalabagh Dam. Of this 90 million acre-feet water, Mr. Prime Minister, we save only 6 million acres. This is a criminally low storage in the world. In Jhelum, you have 24 million acre-feet water every year. We store 7 at Mangla. And we store nothing at Chenab, which is about 26 million acre-feet water. So 90 plus 24 and 26 is about 145 million acre-feet water, and we store only 13 million acre-feet. By virtue of doing these projects, by about 28, 29, we will be adding 11.7 million acre-feet water, and sir, will be adding in power more than 11,000 megawatt, which will be in terms of 44 billion units, adding to current 37 billion units. So by end of these projects, we would have shot up more than 120% in power, and we would have added about water storage of more than 95%. So other than these projects, we also have 3 more on the anvil, which is Nolong in Balochistan and Kyal Khwar right here in downwards of Patan, and we have Atabad in Hunza. So what we did was that our team made a strategy that we must build on the increased revenues, and we need to unshackle ourselves from the government of Pakistan because they can't really have a debt on their financial landscape. And we went and explored the possibilities of reaching out to ESG funds, environment funds, and also to emerging markets, venture markets, and equity markets. And for that, we had one of the best financial institutions operating with us. So this is just to give an overview of this, that the 3 major projects what we are doing. This is Mohammed Dam, the Diamer Basha Dam part, Diamer Basha Power Generation, Diamer Basha Land, Dasu. So in all, right bottom corner, this is 2.6 trillion rupees projects which are underway. And all of this, Mr. Prime Minister, 2.6 trillion, the government of Pakistan will be chipping in only 648. But more importantly, it is WAPDA would be arranging $6.12 because it started in, of course, 2019, and the government was overstretched. So we ventured out to the market, and what did we do? We first put on house in order, And we took a step of going for the international rating by not one, by all three rating agencies, Fitch, Moody's and S&P. And you'll be happy to hear that we became the first parastatal in Pakistan to secure the stable outlook by all three. Then we went over to the market and we were able to raise a green Eurobond, which I'll explain a little later. So Basha, like I said, this is a place where the future destiny of food security and energy security of Pakistan is dependent on. We'll have a gross capacity of 8.1 million acre feet and 6.4 of a life. And other than that, this will provide 18 billion units in terms of power. And a single day of delay in Diamer Basha is causing us loss of $5 million in direct and $25 million in terms of indirect effects. So once we started, so what were the major challenges we took? Of course, its gestation period is more, it takes 7 to 8 years. It is very capital intensive, so government is pretty fragile onto this one. Pakistan itself does not have a very high-end engineering capacities, and approvals takes about 26 to 28 months for a project. And the last is also a very negative impact on the development because you have issues like PEPRA and audit and NAP.
चेयरमैन वापडा वज़ीर-ए-आज़म शहबाज शरीफ को दियामिर भाषा डैम के हवाले से ब्रीफिंग दे रहे थे।